Do you think you know a lot of historical facts? Well, over the decades, many facts have been changed, exaggerated, and even entirely fabricated and dramatized. Most people trust these misconceptions, and in some weird situations, these versions have even ended up in history books. This is EdChat, your one-stop know-it-all to everything wise and innovative. So what are we waiting for? Without further ado, here are the 10 historical facts that are actually completely wrong. They say that repeating a lie 1,000 times does not make it the truth. In general, history lessons make us memorize and learn facts and dates that shaped the world. We all remember that Christopher Columbus set sail in 1492, the Western Roman Empire fell in 476, and that on June 6, 1944, the Allies landed in Normandy. These are facts that have been claimed and corroborated by historians. However, other facts and stories are still perceived as true even when they haven't gone through that meticulous verification process. Take a look at this list and count how many you thought were hard historical facts. Number 10. White marble statues dazzled ancient Rome. Ancient Rome has always been very famous for its white marble statues. At least, that's what most people believe. If you're one of them and think the same, it's time to catch up on your knowledge. In reality, these white marble statues were colored with brilliant paints and tints. We must remember that classical Roman buildings are thousands of years old, so we must consider the paint jobs from a scientific perspective. Scientists believe that the paint traces indicate that the Romans rebuilt the statues to resemble the originals. So if you visit Rome, don't forget to add a splash of color to appreciate the historical accuracy of the white marble statues. Number 9. The existence of Triceratops. If you find it hard to cope with change, we suggest you take it easy. If you were born before 2005, your childhood may be drastically altered. The Triceratops never existed. They were simply young Torosaurus in the midst of a growth spurt, indicating that Dr. Giants' entire character in the blockbuster film Jurassic Park was completely fictitious in nature. Mr. Spielberg, my apologies. Number 8. Light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. Many people may be surprised to learn that Thomas Edison did not in fact invent the light bulb, despite being a brilliant inventor. Many scientists had been curiously experimenting with electricity for creating emissions for 50 years before this breakthrough was made public. Charles Brush was known to have started his own lighting arc business in 1877, 2 years before Thomas Edison's venture into incandescent lighting. In reality, Edison's incandescent light bulb was just the first practical light bulb for everyday use in the house. Number 7. Albert Einstein failed mathematics. Seriously? Could this have really been true? How can it be possible that a mathematic genius failed the subject? Exam nerves? Hard to answer questions? Truth is truth no matter how you twist it, and Einstein nailed it. This spoof began with an article titled Greatest Living Mathematicians Who Failed in Mathematics in the well-known Ripley's Believe It or Not magazine, whether you believe it or not. Unfortunately, Mr. Ripley did not bother to verify the truth of what he heard or published. After reading the article's commentary, Einstein declared that he never failed mathematics. He was also a master of integral and differential calculus before the age of 15. Number 6. Lincoln set the slaves free. There are 1,000 versions of this one. Contrary to popular belief, Lincoln's famous order of 1863 did not truly free any slaves. Indeed, the legislation was only enforced in a few select parts of America under Confederate law. The institution was legally abolished after the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution was passed in 1865. Hold on, please click the subscribe button to get notified about more updates. Also, don't forget to leave a like. Which of these not-so-true historical facts surprised you? Tell us in the comments below. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 5. Egyptian slaves built pyramids. We grew up watching Hollywood movies that always showed Egyptian slaves building the magnificent pyramids. However, Egyptian archaeologists found several additional tombs related to the people who actually helped build the pyramids a few years ago. These tombs were immaculately kept, and the remains inside them were undamaged. The wonderful treatment depicted in these tombs was definitely not the type of treatment that any slave would have. Number 4. People in the Middle Ages did not think the earth was flat. A common myth about the Dark Ages is that it was a time of savagery and ignorance when people thought the world was flat. The idea of the Earth being round has been known since at least the 6th century BC, and by the Middle Ages, most intellectuals and educated people believed that the world was spherical. Historians believe this confusion arose from 19th century writers who criticized the medieval church by suggesting that medieval people thought the Earth was flat. Number 3. Salem witches were not burned at the stake. In 1692, a doctor in Salem Village, Massachusetts, believed black magic was to blame for a mysterious illness affecting young girls. Allegations of witchcraft then circulated across the settlement. While it is widely assumed that those found guilty of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials were burnt at the stake, this was not the truth. The Salem witch trials may have been confused with European witch hunts that took place between the 15th and 18th centuries. Witchcraft was punished by death by burning under the Holy Roman Empire's Constitution Criminalist Carolina law. Number 2. Great Chicago Fire of 1871. A cow kicking over a lantern is not how this massive blaze began. If you thought it was a cow kicking over a lantern, you believed a widespread rumor that started when the fire first broke out. When some local boys claimed that the fire was started by a woman called Catherine O'Leary, who had allegedly been milking her cow in her barn, the story was picked up and printed by the newspapers. However, there has never been any proof that this story was real. In actuality, O'Leary angrily rejected the claim, saying that she was in bed at the time and couldn't have been responsible. Finally, the Chicago City Council officially declared Catherine and her cow innocent in 1997. So what was the real cause? So far, no one can say for sure. Some say that men were gambling in O'Leary's barn, and one of them kicked over a lantern in a drunken rage. Others say that one man, Daniel Pegleg Sullivan, was taking milk from O'Leary and accidentally knocked down a lantern in the process. At the same time, others have gone so far as to theorize that a meteor shower sparked the fire. Number 1. Pocahontas met John Smith. They fell in love and lived happily ever after, right? The entire story of Pocahontas and John Smith falling in love is a piece of Disney movie magic. Pocahontas was just 11 or 12 years old when Smith arrived. And while she may have saved him from death at the hands of her powerful father, there's no proof that the two fell in love or lived happily ever after. The true story is far less Disney-friendly. For a while, she was taken captive by the English. She later converted to Christianity, changed her name to Rebecca, and married a tobacco planter named John Rolfe when she was 17. They had a son and later moved to England, where Pocahontas died when she was around 20 or 21 years old. Definitely not a story for little kids. So guys, history is so much more than a living record of nations, rulers, and wars. It's also the story of us. It's jam-packed with stories about people who stood up for what they believed in, died for love, or worked hard to achieve their goals. All of those things are concepts we can relate to. Plus, it's enriching to know that the likes of Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, or Martin Luther King could also relate. In fact, history is simply amazing. When you study history, you may experience everything you like in your favorite movies, television series, and fiction novels in real life. So explore the possibilities today and enter a new universe that will permanently change who you are. But remember one thing, before believing any facts, do your own intense research. History is a vast subject, so don't blindly trust some historical facts. And that's the video. What are some other historical misconceptions that have always bothered you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, then please subscribe and hit the notification button to get notified about our latest content. Remember guys, if you're feeling wise and techie, then EdChat has your back.